Hello, Western Civ 104. Welcome to week 11. And, I mean, of course, my energy and my is over the fact that we are still all trying to process so much of this very unexpected and just very overwhelming set of events. So, as I mentioned to you, I don't expect everybody to get their work in on time, but I do want to encourage you to keep it going. I'm seeing so many of you do quality work, and you're keeping it going, and it's not that far away and until we finish. And so I want to encourage you, if you've made it this far, to just keep pushing on. Sometimes you may be putting in, for lack of a better phrase, half-assed work that doesn't get as high points. Whatever works for you, or if you really want to put it in something that's quality, take your time. But I want to remind you, I shouldn't have to be, I don't know why I've had to say this, so many announcements. I'm still getting papers from all 3 classes with no dates or works cited. And I mention, I give zeros if your papers don't have dates and works cited. And I say that this is not research papers. Most of your information should come from what we cover in our modules, okay? And sometimes people are cut and pasting certain things which are plagiarism or borderline. Listen, I'm here, I have your back. We're going to get through this together. But don't compromise academic integrity. And if you have questions or you're having a hard time, contact me, because I'm more than available than usual. I mean, look, I'm pretty much... It's like, hi, live from my cell. I actually had the flu shortly after I put the video out for the first one, dealing with everything. And I was concerned that I had the thing. And so I contacted the nurses. They told me, it looks like I just have a flu. They don't hear anything in my voice. And they were listening to respiratory issues. They said, but if you get anything in the respiratory issue, that's a very serious thing now. It could be other things, but those are the things that they were more concerned about. I'm actually much better. I never had anything really develop in the respiratory area, to be concerned of. But they told me I could still be a carrier and that I needed to self-quarantine for still now a lot more days. So I want you to take this serious. I got to tell you the story. It's not really a great story to tell, but just because I see so many that are still not taking what's happening serious, or they're not sure if this is a conspiracy or what to make of it. Well, I've made friends from all around the world. And I have a friend that's in Finland. He's a Finnish guy. And he just contacted me a few weeks ago asking me if he thought it would be safe to go on a business trip in the United States and Mexico. I met him at a hostel, actually, in Seattle years ago. He's younger than me. I'm 46, okay? He's considerably younger than me, probably in his 30s. Very healthy, active guy. He's always partying in South Korea and Japan and having a blast. Well, this morning, first thing I look on my Facebook, on my phone, he's in a hospital bed, looking pretty terrible, and he wrote that he just got sent in an ambulance, and the doctor said it's a 99% chance he has coronavirus. He had to finish getting the results of the test. But he was just saying, listen, he's pleading with everybody. He said, look, Finland isn't taking it that serious, and everybody thinks that it's only the older and the immune compromised. And of course, this whole term, like only the old, I mean, come on, y'all have grandmas. So, when people are partying in Florida and they're saying they don't care, I mean, don't they care about their grandmas or somebody who has a compromised immune system? But the reality is, some of those partiers can be in the hospital just like my friend. See, this is no joke, okay? So this is a very hard time for us. I don't like being stuck in my room all the time. It's terribly boring and kind of makes you feel emotionally overwhelmed when you think about a lot of things. But you know what? We're going to get through it. And the quickest way to get through it is to take the science serious, okay? So transitioning from that, I did not set it up for the class to be going over the bubonic plague, the Black Death, this week. This was already in my module. And then when I looked over on Sunday to see what subject matter we were going to cover, I about hit the floor. I said, I can't believe we're actually covering this. But then I thought, maybe this is cathartic for us, or maybe this would be helpful to understand some of the type of situations that humans have always had episodes like this. Now, this is a very extreme, terrible set of events that happened when there wasn't modern science and medicine available, or the technology to spread information properly. So we're likely never to see something in the way that it happened then when you watch the documentary. So the negative side is, I want you to understand that not only the Spanish flu of 1918, which we haven't covered in this class, but this was a global pandemic, and it really killed a lot of people, and it took about 3 years. And so we should realize that it's not a conspiracy theory. Governments don't just set these things up to try to make their own agendas. They might take advantage of these kind of crises, for sure. But this happens, and it's not good for anybody. And it gets the rich powerful, and the poor. The good news is these things end. And, as I mentioned in our first video, our ancestors got us here through all of this stuff. Okay, most likely, many of our ancestors, no matter what part of the world they're from, survived a serious sort of pestilence, plague, something, and they got through. And that's why you're here, right? Okay, your bloodline got you. So I'm always wanting to put that positive spin on that. But it is very appropriate for the time period. And so I changed the discussion. So I got rid of the exam. We're not focusing on no exams right now. No. I said, forget that. I was like, well, let's just have a more robust discussion. I put more points into the discussion. You have to answer. You'll see that it's a 20-point assignment. You're responding to 4 other students instead of 2. And I wanted it to be thoughtful, based on the information that we learned on the. There's also the crash course on disease, which is very appropriate. And so you combine those two. It's maybe this is something that helps us kind of be more thoughtful in a positive way about something that's very a grim topic that was grim back then, and what we're dealing with now is grim. But my goal is to get you all through these classes not only successful with your grades, but I want to see a smarter, more informed set of human beings. I mean, in my opinion, much of societal ills are based on a lot of people not being informed. And we're going to watch about the rise of anti-Semitism, about the meanness to Jews during the plague. Does this sound familiar? Asian Americans, in particular Chinese, are being attacked by people, not just in the United States, by the way. I know this kind of stuff is happening in Southeast Asia and other parts where Chinese are being blamed, even by other Asian ethnic groups. I think it was in Cambodia. I saw in the news that there were shops telling Chinese people they weren't welcome in their shops because they were afraid of it being the Chinese virus, when we know that that's not how it works. And being like that is not only mean and heartless in a time that everybody needs to come together, it's reckless, because the assumption is that you're going to be safe if you just kind of get rid of or remove or deal with a particular group. As we know in science, the virus doesn't discriminate. And so I just wanted to help us put things into perspective. And I just want to remind you, to be good to yourself, to be good to others. I just talked to my great aunt and uncle on the phone for a while. We talked about our ancestry, our family ancestry. That was a really enjoyable discussion. My great uncle's sending me a book to make sure that I stop having socialist tendencies. And he recommended a Christian sermon on Sunday. Good old family stuff. Take care of that little radical professor, great nephew. Make sure he's getting it right during these times. Hey, listen. We should all appreciate our family. We should all not get too self-righteous in our own ideologies. Everybody's dishing out or giving out, hopefully, the positive that they feel, trying to let people know certain things in a way that we think is going to be helpful for everybody else. Because everybody's coming from that place, I think, right now, that we all want to see a good result happen. Even when you're watching the news and you're seeing the Democrats and Republicans fight over a bill, listen, in our country, that's almost inevitable. And it's funny how both sides blame the other one. But we shouldn't expect that being as partisan and divisive as we've been with each other isn't going to gum up some of our unity that we need to get things going forward. So hopefully we can get all that resolved very quickly. And, that's all I have to say about that. So listen, I'm very available now. Excuse me, burping. I'm out of my frozen dinner, just giving me lots of heartburn, but that's just how frozen dinners do. And so contact me if you have any questions, you want any elaborations. I'm more than happy to engage with all of you and be a good support for you. I know we're all going to get through this semester with flying colors somehow. And, I do care about all of my students. I want you all to know that, okay? All right. Take care. We'll be in touch.